Hi everyone, I just wanted to make a small follow-up video to the GearPods review and talk a little bit about the kit in general terms, and now I've actually had the chance to test it out. Now, looking back over my videos, I realised I didn't actually mention the pods themselves. They're made from a nice solid polycarbonate material. They're waterproof. Obviously my kit took a dunking in the lake, and all the contents were bone dry by the time I pulled all my gear out, so that's good to know. They have these useful little labels on the front so you can identify the contents. They're made from a sort of smoky plastic, so you can actually see the contents if you don't happen to have the labels. The plastic is FDA approved food grade, so you can use it for short-term food and water storage, but it's not BPA-free, which means, you know, over a long term then you could get some problems with BPA leaching, so I wouldn't recommend them for long term. But you know, they're not designed for long term food storage, but as a temporary solution they would work pretty well. So the stove system, absolutely no complaints about that at all. It's really good kit. You know, like I mentioned in the earlier video, it actually came through for me when I really needed it, so very pleased with that. Very pleased. I'd still like to see a mug lid that we can put on there during boiling, because obviously you lose a lot of heat through steam, and they are still working on that problem, trying to come up with a permanent solution. In the meantime, they recommend that you use aluminium foil and just fashion a makeshift lid like that, and that'll work fine. The shelter, again, absolutely no problems at all. I was really impressed with the quality of the tarp to start with. It's comparable to the quality of my sill tarp from Integral Designs, which cost a fair chunk more. So the quality is fantastic in terms of the stitching, the anchor points, and the overall quality of the silicone impregnated nylon is just really good. It's a little bit small. It's fine for me, obviously, but for larger guys or bigger guys, it might be a little bit small. And they are planning on offering larger ones and different colours as well at some point in the future, so that's something to bear in mind. Line tensioners, absolutely fantastic. I love those things. A really good design. I'd say my only little complaint about those is the colour, because they're in black. If you drop them on the forest floor, they're very difficult to spot. Maybe orange or something like that, a brighter colour would have been a better choice. But in terms of functionality, they're absolutely brilliant. One observation I would make is that the instructions tell you to do a single overhand knot to secure them. I found that knot actually still slipped a little bit through the hole. So if you actually change that to a double overhand knot, then that solves the problem fine. In terms of getting the components back into the GearPod, certainly the bivy bag and the tarp were a little bit difficult to get them back rolled up small enough to get them back inside the container. And if you actually look on the GearPods website when you're ordering them, there is an option to supersize the container up to the next size, which would make life a lot easier if you did that. So that's one option I think I'd recommend, because it's a little bit difficult trying to get everything back into the size that they ship in. Now, with the survival kit, no real complaints about that either. I mean, obviously there were a couple of deficiencies which I noted. The fishing line, I think, would be a good addition, and they actually tell me that they are planning on adding fishing line in a future version of the kit. I'm obviously not a real big fan of the one-handed striker, the Sparklite striker, Adventure Medical kits thing. But you know, the kit is really designed for the complete novice, and anybody who can use a bit lighter can use one of those strikers. You know, whereas a true ferro rod takes a little bit of practice, and it might be a little bit off-putting for a novice. So I do recognise the reasons behind putting that in, but I'd still like to see a real ferro rod thrown in there as well, simply because it'll last a lot longer than the standard one-handed striker, and it'll throw off hotter sparks, so it'd be possible to use natural tinders, which I think is the real significant drawback to the small sort of Sparklite striker. It just doesn't throw hot enough sparks to light natural tinders like birch bark or cedar bark or something like that. You know, unless you're lucky enough to find cattail or milkweed pods or thistles or something like that, you're really not going to be able to get anything lit with that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the cost. one of the biggest complaints I've seen about these things is that they are expensive, and yes, they are. You take a look at the overall price and they do seem expensive, but like Adam Francis observed in his review of the GearPods system, if you actually sit down and price out all the individual components, you'll find that actually it's pretty good value for money. If you went out and bought everything separately, you'd be hard pressed to match the price. I mean, certainly the survival kit components and the tarp as well. The tarp is very competitively priced. In fact, the only thing I really don't think is that competitively priced is the cook mug and the stove system. You can go out and get equivalent systems made out of titanium for the same price, so I do think it's a little bit overpriced at $60. But there's not many places where you can get a fully self-contained system, and like I said, it works really, really well. So some people may feel it's good value for money, some people may not. Overall, I was really impressed with the gear. It held up very, very well. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It kept me safe, it kept me warm, it kept me dry overnight, in a simulated survival situation. And so now I actually have the confidence that I can throw that in my canoe, I can throw it in my vehicle, and should the situation arise, I'm going to have everything in those series of GearPods to keep me alive until I get rescued. And that was the whole point of the exercise. Now, I have absolutely no qualms about recommending this gear to anybody. They've made some very clever, very smart design decisions. The kit is overall very, very, very good quality, and the company is an absolute joy to deal with. Their customer service is second to none. There's not many companies that will deal with you on a personal level like this. Like I mentioned in the cook mug video, I had an issue with the lid shrinking. I fired them off a quick email to find out what the situation was with that, and within 4 hours they were trying to reproduce the problem, and then over the next 2 months they tried about 20 different composites to try and solve the problem, coming up with different designs, and in the end they shipped new lids to anybody, even the guys who hadn't come across the problem yet. Anybody who had bought a cook set, they shipped a set of 2 new lids out. So that kind of customer service is very rare in today's day and age. Thanks for watching. I hope you found these videos useful. They were a lot of fun to make, and it was great fun getting out there testing this gear. Any questions, queries, problems, feel free to drop me a line. Cheers.